Welcome to my channel. My name is Malika and this is The Aligned Life. I just want to thank all my subscribers and I want to thank everybody who's clicked on this video. Even if you have not subscribed, your support means a lot to me. I hope you will subscribe. Hit the button down below to do so and the notification bell so you'll be notified whenever I upload this video, or my next video rather. So I want to talk about childhood trauma, but before we talk about that, you've got to understand what the inner child is. So we're going to start off with knowing what our inner child is, okay? So the inner child is a part of your psyche, right? It's that part of your psyche that is creative, imaginative, it's that part of your psyche that's fun, that's inspired, that part of your psyche that likes to have fun and enjoys just being creative and curious about the world and about relationships and fun and just gathering new information and just having an amazing time like in life. That's what the inner child is in your psyche. So your inner child retains that part of you that is innocent. It retains that part of you that, like I was saying, is creative. It's that part of you that is explorative, so to speak. And it lives within you. So when we're disconnected from our inner child, that is when we start to begin to feel lethargic. It is also when we feel unhappy. We feel like empty in the inside because we're disconnected from our inner child. And when we're connected, we feel all of those feelings that I was just describing, like fun, inspired, wonder, creative, those types of feelings. What is childhood trauma? Childhood trauma is a traumatic experience that you experience when you're in childhood, such as abuse, neglect, abandonment. And it can happen anywhere from the time you're born all the way up until you're 18. That is my personal belief. It's not just about when, your younger years. It can happen in your more teenage years as well. So when you have childhood trauma, that could mean that you're operating from an age at which the trauma had occurred. So if you were never able to heal a trauma that happened in your childhood, that is where you could be operating in terms of some of your behaviors. So childhood trauma sticks with you until you realize that you need to heal it. It is that wounded feeling that you feel within yourself. It is some behaviors that I'm going to describe in a few minutes. But it sticks with you and it acts itself out in your patterns in life and your behaviors. And it starts to control the way that you react to certain things or the way that you approach certain things in your life. And it may keep you in a revolving circular pattern. And most notable patterns often are relationships, how we deal with relationships. Are we attracting the same people? Why we can't seem to make different choices in our life, those types of things. Some of the behaviors can be people pleasing. It can be fear, abandonment, fear of abandonment. It could be overachieving. It can be inadequacy. It can be guilty, feeling guilty all the time. This could be having unwanted sex, addictions. It could be avoiding conflict, avoiding people, abandonment, like I was just saying. But you could be the one abandoning people because you have the fear of abandonment. or you've had the childhood trauma experience of abandonment. It could be anxiety, depression, feeling like something's wrong with you, holding on to things that you know you need to let go of, feeling like you're a sinner. You know, like, especially if you grew up in a very religious household, it could be you feeling as though you're sinning, you're not living the righteous path, having that inner negative self-critic all the time revolving around you. This is trouble finishing and starting things. This is rage, okay? Not being in control of your emotions. Like when you bottle things up, you just let them get to the point where when you do release them, it is pure rage, okay? Perfectionism, rebellion can actually be a behavior of inner childhood trauma, a wounded child, inner child, you know. So those are some of the feelings that we have, and I'm looking because I have notes. I just wanted to speak all of them out that I know of. So those are some of the patterns and behaviors you can have when you have childhood trauma. So what I want you to do now is to ask yourself this question, and it's a journal prompt. So if you journal or you would like to journal, here's a journal prompt for you to assess whether or not you have childhood trauma. Do you have any of these patterns or behaviors that I've just named off? So rewind the video and ask yourself this question. Do you have any of these patterns or behaviors that I have listed in this video? And if the answer is yes, can you go back to a time in your life, in your childhood, where this issue first arose? So you have to go into the eye of the storm to figure out, where did I get these feelings from? What happened to me in my childhood that caused me to have this type of behavior? That is one way that you can assess whether or not you have childhood trauma. And once you do that, stay tuned for part 2 of this video series, because I will be talking about how you can begin to heal your childhood trauma, you guys. And then in part 3, I'm going to share with you how I am healing my childhood trauma. Things that I've healed up into now, and how I'm continuously perpetuating that healing, because it's not something that's going to happen overnight. You do heal it, but you have to keep it up. There's layers to your childhood trauma, and there's also layers to healing, and healing is not linear, you guys. Healing is an up and down thing, but it is necessary, and you can achieve your ultimate healing with help from outsiders such as therapists and people who are spiritual wellness coaches, and yourself and your connection to the divine. Okay, so that's what I'm going to help you do. So stay tuned, subscribe, like, comment, let me know how you feel about childhood trauma, your experience, and I would just like to hear from you. So let me know in the comments down below. Anything you need from me is in the description box, and I will see you in my next video. As always, peace and love. Bye.